Down to Queens in the Bronx, Long Island and Jersey, get as fly as they want. But I must tell ya, where we rest is no joke. So let me break it down to sections for your slowpokes. Fort Greene, Bed-Stuy, Flatbush, Brownsville, Crown Heights in East New York. I'll be down till Medina takes respect for the styles we bring.
Welcome back to the Rap Box. Today, what we're gonna be going through as we here in the studio. Well, not the studio. We here where all the plaques are at. We'll call it the record plaque room, Whoz Reflection Studios. And what we're gonna do is go through every album for this episode of the Rap Box. Give y'all a little brief overview of the creation of it. We're gonna go in order. So me and Negative gonna go through this. What's the first one? What's the first album we dropped on Whoz Reflection? Why don't you take us to that one?
All right. The first album we dropped on Whoz Reflection, if you can see, 2001, 7 feet below the surface, the underground theory. This was kind of like the very start of how we were gonna do the next project. This is like the compilation, you know, of some of the acts we had on the label. Kind of look at this as like when NWA first came out, that album that was called NWA and the Posse with everybody on the cover in the alley or whatnot. This would be that, you know. And this dropped in 2001, which would later, within the next couple of years, we started to move forward to working on, even though this album didn't come out directly after 7 feet below the surface, but Rhyme Asylums was formed kind of through this first album. So,
And this is all packaged by us. Printed, packaged, well, most of them. One of them is not.
are we going in order?
Yeah.
In
So
order,
what's the
then
next one?
You would have to come over here. Okay, so that was 2001. It took us into 02. The
What's
album
next?
is not plaqued, so we're not even gonna speak on that one. So that one kind of got shelved. That was the Aztecs, Another Dimension. But
So
then
what's the next one?
after that, my first solo album,
There we go.
I Got Issues, 2003. This was a double album. On here, I basically was describing all of my different aliases. That's why it was called I Got Issues, because I got different personalities. So it was Negative, my main character, I guess. Venom, Carnage, my horrorcore character. Venom, my more lyrical battle type character. And Death Touch, DJ Death Touch, my DJ character. Double album, I Got Issues, 2003, Whoz Reflection.
All right, what's the next one?
The next
That's two.
was Mixo Flicks, also known as Mixo or Detroit Mixo. This was also in 2003. His album was entitled The Real World, Nothing But Actual Factuals. This was his first solo project. And it was basically, you know, from his mindset, his ideas and whatnot, introducing him, you know, to everybody, coming forth from that 7 Below album, because he was on there. I should have said that. Sorry, he was also on there.
All right, what we going to after that?
Okay.
That's three.
So that's three.
That's
So
3 albums.
2004, you can go to either, they both came out at the same time. We can talk about this one, because this one kind of introduces Rhyme Clinic. This is my next solo album, 2004, Venom, Natural Born Spitters, introduced Perfect Eclipse, and then introduced us as Rhyme Clinic. It was kind of done like Raekwon the Chef's first solo album, Built for Cuban Links, where he pretty much, it was his album, but he featured Tony Starks. So on this album, he featured Tony Starks, aka Ghostface Killer. This album here was half me solo as Venom, and then the other half went into introducing Perfect Eclipse. Yes.
Perfect Eclipse, you know.
And that introduced us as the duo group Rhyme Clinic. Next.
What we going to next? Once again, this is Whoz Reflection Records, giving y'all an overview of all the albums that we done dropped. What number was that? 4?
Yep.
That was number 4. So we're gonna take y'all to album number 5, dropped by Whoz Reflection Records.
Henchman. Hip Hop for Dummies. We pretty much dropped this the same year we dropped the Natural Born Spitters album. We used to do that. We would usually drop 2 albums a year, or maybe more, but mostly the minimum was about 2. And this was Henchman's album, Hip Hop for Dummies. He was another member, part of the 7 Below album. And this was his, we kind of did it like that. Everybody from 7 Below was starting to drop solo projects to get them, you know, out there, because we were solo artists. And that was how we did that.
All right, what's number 5?
Okay, number 5. You jump into 2006.
Album number 5 on the Whoz Reflection album catalog.
Rhyme Asylum. Group Therapy.
Rhyme Asylum, yeah, we violent, ride beside us, so one of us gonna Columbine you.
That album pretty much, that was where we went from 7 Below. We changed the name to Rhyme Asylum. We actually changed it in 02. And while everybody was working on the
Shout out to Mad Skills, Kid Boombox. I believe he came up with that chorus.
When all of the stuff that we were doing as solo artists, as Henchman did Hip Hop for Dummies, Mixo did The Real World, I Got Issues, and later Natural Born Spitters, we were also working on this album. And this was the whole crew, Rhyme Asylum. Rhyme Asylum was 7 members, 7 to 8 members. Mixo, Detroit Mixo, Mixo Flicks, me, Negative, Perfect Eclipse, Henchman, Dean Keaton, Ill Skills, Mad Skills, also known as Huey Boombox, and later on, Perfect Hell. And this was the album, double album, which introduced the whole crew, and we introduced our subgroup, all of the subgroups that was a part of the crew. Subgroups meaning pretty much like different members of the crew would pair off into duo groups or maybe even more than that. I was trying to find out some pictures.
So that's the second double album. No, that's the third double album, and that's album number 5. As y'all can tell, we home of doing double albums, triple albums. So what's album number 6?
Number 6 would be Mixo, Detroit Mixo, or
Back over here.
Mixo Flix's second solo album, and that's called The Starving Artist. That album was done a little more different than.
We did all this artwork too.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mixo at the time.
You know, we packaged it.
Packaged it up. Got our own cases.
Got everything
distributed ourselves.
You know.
Once again, a glimpse into Whoz Reflection Records. Mixo's second album, Starving Artist. A different aspect than the one before of The Real World. Nothing but actual factuals, but still the classic Mixo sound. What's the album? What number we on? I'm losing count. 7?
7.
What number we on? 7?
So, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're moving on album number 8.
Oh, okay. We on number 8.
Album number 8. This is my third solo project, Carnage, under my alias Carnage. This is more for the horrorcore fans. This album is entitled God Help Us. This was also 2006. 2006 for God Help Us, 2006 for Starving Artists, and 2006 for Group Therapy. We did 3 albums that year. No, we did 4 when we get to the next one. So we did 4 actually in 06. We were really moving. God Help Us was a horrorcore album, and I also did it kind of for my whole crew because everybody on that album was from my crew, whether it was my subgroup, all my subgroups I was in, and they always kind of thought that was my best character or alias, or that was the one that they liked the most that I would do. So God Help Us was kind of actually, I did this. This was even for the public. This was more for them, you know. So that came out in 2006.
So we done went through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was number 7. Okay, yeah, so I was right. That was number 7.
Number 8.
I ain't lose count. I was the one on the basketball court that knew the score. You wasn't about to get over on me with that 9-7. Nah, it's 10-7, man. Our ball.
Okay, next would be
Number 8.
Skills. The Truth is Out There. This was Ill Skills, Hold Your Head, and Mad Skills, aka Huey Boombox.
Kid
This was their-
Boombox.
This was their album.
Debut.
Debut in 2006. So we did 4 albums that year that we released. This was their project. They were kind of young at the time. We would call them like kind of the babies of the crew. They were like the youngest members. You know what I'm saying? So this is like their first project. They didn't really get a chance to promote it as good as the other ones. At that time, you know, we had so much going on, and like I said, they were kind of young, so we didn't really figure out how to market it till it was a little too late. So that was their album.
That's number 8. Let's get to number 9.
So number 9, so that was 2006. 2007 there's an album, but we don't have it plaqued, and that was another horrorcore album for Meet the Morgue, Something Wicked This Way Comes. It was finished, but we never got a chance to plaque it. That came out in 2007, and then the next project in 2007. I think you should talk about this.
Oh, this project is my first project. Came out 2007, like you said. This is album number 9, and my number is 9. And I didn't know this was a 9th album, but that's cool. But my first album, 9th album of Whoz Reflection. I Do It For Us. Dropped this album. It was really just for us as an aspect of my peoples in the hood, and us as in the aspect as my people involved in the hip hop culture. So that's how I went about coming up with the title. I Do It For Us, and the songs. That's all what they pertaining to. What we on, number 10?
Number 10, also
What's
in
number 10?
2007. 2007. The Rhyme Asylum EP.
Okay.
This was an EP. By this time, we had kind of made our name as one of the established crews in Detroit, Michigan. We were known. We had a nice rep. So we had some guest features on there. Marv One. We had, from the Fat Killers, we had Super MC from the Dreadnoughts. Who else am I leaving out? But it was an EP. This was we tried some different things on this. You know, it wasn't the traditional just rough, rugged boom bap. We had that, but we also had other songs on there that were kind of more, let's say, would fit more in the today's sense, I guess, how people are doing music. So we were experimenting with this project with the Rhyme
That's number 11.
Now number 11, okay. Number 11 comes out in 2011, 2010-ish, 2011. And it's the Pop Killers, Make 'Em Pay. Another double album.
Another double album.
Yeah.
So we got 1 double album, 2 double album, 3 double album, 4 double albums.
So.
Back to the Pop Killers.
Pop Killers was 2011. 2010, 2011. Make 'Em Pay, double album. This album was basically, we had got fed up with how the music industry had become, and we launched a full-fledged assault and coined a new term of style of rap called bash rap, and we just launched it, just bashed the shit out of people. Some people say hate, whatever, the hate album. Unfortunately, this album was done right when the Rhyme Asylum had split up. So this was it was 7 to 8 of us. So half of us became Pop Killers. The other half became a group called Stereo Boys from Detroit, Michigan. The guys, the whole crew, once the crew split up, one half made Stereo Boys, the other half made Pop Killers. And this is what we wanted to
It's the
present.
double album for y'all.
Make 'Em Pay.
So what number was that?
That was number, I want to say, was that 10?
No, that was 11.
11? I didn't know count. Okay, so number 12 would be the next Pop Killers project. This was called the Freestyle album. Oh yeah, by the way, Pop Killers, I forgot to explain, and so did Perfect Eclipse. Pop Killers, we said was the remaining 4, so it was Perfect Eclipse, myself, Dean Keaton, and Fury, who was kind of like he's my nephew, and he was like always on the outside of Rhyme Asylum, so he was part of Pop Killers. Anyway, this is the freestyle album.
This is 13. Excuse me, y'all. This is 13.
Okay.
Our ball still.
Freestyle album. This was 2000 and let me get it right. I want to say 12. Basically what the term says. It was a freestyle album. It was just freestyle raps. Not in the sense of what you guys think freestyling is known as today.
It was written rhymes with no topic.
There you go. It was freestyle, free of a style. We just was rhyming. This was that album. It was supposed to lead into the next Pop Killers album that we were working on. So that's that project.
So there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 albums. Carnage hanging on the end. Venom hanging on this end. 13 albums. We're gonna get to the next album. Picture of the Rhyme Asylum crew. All the members. I think we was at the Blind Pig on this one.
Some of our fans.
Some old pictures of when the Rhyme Asylum crew was together. Out here crushing shows. Our NWA pick. And that's going to conclude this session of the Rap Box. Part 2 of the Who's Reflection segment will be Rhyme Clinic, and we're going to be talking about the 14th album to add to the Who's Reflection collection, which is our album, triple album, Lyrical Fearful, the Golden Era Revival. Tune in next time.
And did tricks on a bitch. Dirty rotten scoundrel, and my name is J. Roo. Utilizing my tools in 92. MC step up in Mars to defeat us when we rock knots and got props like Norm Peterson.